Have you ever seen your pet dreaming and asked yourself just what's going on inside their head? Well, I have, and I've done some research on just that. I'm sure many of you have dogs just like me, and you've seen them twitching and growling in their sleep and wondered what they're dreaming. So today I would like to tell you all about what your pooch is dreaming and how they're dreaming. I'm going to discuss how dogs and other animals are perceived by humans, what's going on in our brains when we sleep, and what specifically dogs are dreaming about. So specifically in the 1800s, dogs were kind of seen as thoughtless and unfeeling because they couldn't communicate how they felt. Dreaming contradicts these views because it suggests that they have a certain feeling about things going on in their lives and it sticks out to them just like how it sticks out to us when we dream about things as well. So animals can't communicate or tell us their thoughts and feelings. So even though we have limited communication with animals, you can still infer that they have the capacity to dream because when you see them twitching or barking in their sleep, obviously they're in the midst of a dream and it seems kind of obvious to us that they're dreaming. So because animals can dream, that means that the ability to imagine is assumed. Because say they're dreaming about catching a rabbit in the yard, obviously they're not physically catching a rabbit in the yard. So that means that they're imagining it even though they're asleep. So according to When Animals Dream by David M. Pina Guzman, he states that the same mental properties are needed to dream of something as to visually imagine it, since in both cases the mind directs itself toward something absent and relates to it as if it were present. So what happens in the brain when we sleep? The primary activities in the brain during sleep are most likely suppressed desires and fears for both humans and animals, according to Sigmund Freud. So Sigmund Freud did a study and he described dreams as suppressed desires and fears being expressed during our subconsciousness when we're sleeping. And the mind is very active when we're going to sleep. It will begin to rerun our experiences in the day to determine what stays in our long-term memory. So if you have something traumatic happen in the day, you might dream about it at night because your brain reran that experience and applied it to your subconsciousness. So according to The Mind at Night by Andrea Rock, evidence from a study conducted by Eugene Oserinsky suggests that when subjects were awakened in the midst of rapid eye movement, they almost always had vivid dream recall. But if they were awakened with no eye movements, they barely remembered anything. So studies show animals' brains follow the same series of sleeping states as our own. So basically, if you wake your pet up in the middle of them dreaming about something, they are actually most likely to remember that dream just like we are. So animals dream the same way we do. Dream content in dogs is really dependent on breed, environment, and individuality. So say you have a dog that's bred specifically for herding cattle, they might actually dream about herding cattle. According to Scottish physician William Lauder Lindsay, when referring to dogs dreaming, he states during sleep movements, the tail and paw, sniffing, growling, barking occur. There's every reason to believe that there is frequently during sleep in the sporting dog an imaginary pursuit of imaginary game. That this supposed pursuit gives rise to actual physical and mental excitement, including, for instance, eagerness and panting for breath caused immediately thereby, and that this excitement sometimes causes the animal to wake. So I've discussed how dogs and other animals have been perceived by humans, what happens when we sleep, and what specifically dogs dream about. Isn't it interesting how your pooch often dreams about the same kind of things that you do, suppressed desires and fears, just like us? So next time you see your pup kicking and growling and scratching in its sleep, just know that it's probably dreaming about catching that bunny in the yard or playing with its friends. And I did a little video. I'd like to show.